A roundup of the last international break of the year, plus some rather big news and rumours about Chelsea this week. To find out how the Blues got on away on international duty, in particular in the Nations League, and who qualified and who got relegated and stuff like that. And also about some contract and transfer rumours, make sure you watch all of this video. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea and basically to the international roundup, but also with some kind of news and updates, scattered into there as well, simply because just the international roundup is a little bit boring. We do know that, but it has been a while, so how have you guys been? Let me know down in the comments. I've been great, but let's not faff about too much and get straight into the video. But before that, 1 second, of course, this is a midweek video on Friday. The preview for the Tottenham game will be out, and there will be a review, there will be fan cams, there will be a vlog, there will be all sorts of content, coming out surrounding the game. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. Also, let's see whether we can hit 400 or more likes in this video. That would be massively appreciated. And if you wouldn't mind, also don't forget to check out my social media. Links to both of them are in the description below. And also you can see over here, last 15/7 on Instagram and Twitter. So yeah, if you could follow me over there, that would be massively appreciated. But now getting into the video, and like I said already, it was the last international break of the year, which I am very thankful for, even though, as it gives us a little bit of a break, I don't quite mind them. But especially now as it's basically going to be non-stop until like February, March time even, until we actually get, at least a week off. It was quite good to get a little bit of a break because it's going to be non-stop now for the next few months. So it was pretty good. But, let's find out how basically the lads got on, because we did have a fair few of the players out on international duty. And like I said, as it would be a little bit boring just talking about the international break, I'll also mention some news and rumours of the last few days throughout the video as well, about the likes of Kante, Pulisic, Martial, the FIFA possible transfer ban, that kind of thing. I'll mention that as well. But getting into the, national teams that basically had Chelsea players with them, starting it off with England, and both Ross Barkley and Ruben Loftus-Cheek were involved with the Three Lions, while Mason Mount, unlike last time, wasn't included due to a minor injury. Now, first, England played a friendly against the USA, which, basically was used as a Wayne Rooney farewell game. Not that anyone cares, but it was used as that anyway. England won the game 3-0 as Loftus-Cheek came on for the last 20 minutes, and Barkley remained an unused sub. Now, as he's American, and there was obviously these rumours, Christian Pulisic, the 20-year-old Dortmund winger, like I said, from the USA, has been linked to Chelsea again, over the recent days. He's already been linked to us in the summer. And, reports are saying that Chelsea will make a bid of around £70 million to sign him in January, or the latest, next summer, as contract talks between the player and Dortmund kind of have stalled. Now, the player himself has said that he will consider his future during the winter break. Obviously, in Germany, in the Bundesliga, they have a massive winter break. But on the other hand, Dortmund boss Hans-Joachim Watzke stated that the American will not be sold in January, basically under any circumstances. And, what will happen, we'll just have to wait and see. People ask me, what is it about these rumours? It's just speculation. In my opinion, anyone that says they know, it's just speculation, in my opinion anyway. I mean, do I want Pulisic personally? Not really. If I'm going to be completely honest, I said similar things to the summer already. I mean, he's good, but he's not that good, in my opinion. And he's only 2 years older than Callum Hudson-Odoi. And, if Pulisic costs 70 million, that's just stupid money. Like I said, yes, of course, he can still improve. He's young, but that's just a bit too much in my opinion, especially with only the small little, age difference between him and Callum Hudson-Odoi. And we don't need to buy another young player in that position. If we're going to buy a winger, buy a ready-made one that's going to improve us drastically straight away. Because otherwise, we might as well just stick with Callum Hudson-Odoi and hope that, we develop him into more than what Christian Pulisic is now. Like, from a marketing standpoint, I completely understand why signing an American would make sense. But solely looking at it from a footballing point of view, I don't think it's the best idea. But going back to England, the second game this week was a big game actually. It was their last game of the Nations League group stage as they faced Croatia at Wembley. And Ross Barkley did start the game and played until the 64th minute, while Loftus-Cheek was an unused substitute, as England actually came back from 1-0 down to win the game in the last 50 minutes, and with that then secure promotion to the semi-finals or playoffs of the Nations League, ahead of Spain, who finished second, and relegated Croatia into League B, with that win. And actually, if England didn't turn the game around or drew 1-1, say, they would have actually been relegated. Now they've basically been promoted or made the semi-finals. So fair play to England. That was pretty impressive. As we just spoke about them, let's move on to Croatia and Mateo Kovacic, who obviously was involved with them. They had 2 games in the Nations League, no friendlies this week basically. Obviously, the second game was against England, like I just said, but the first game was against Spain, which they actually won by 3-2 with an injury time winner. Kovacic remained on the bench and basically was an unused sub, and then kind of picked up a minor injury, according to the manager, and wasn't involved against England. I'm not sure whether he was sent back early to Chelsea like he was last time. I'm not 100% certain on that. I guess we'll just, find out for sure inside his press conference on Friday whether Kovacic will be fit to face Tottenham on Saturday or not. Now moving on to Spain, obviously Croatia's played Spain as well. There were actually quite a few of the Chelsea lads involved there. Kepa Arrizabalaga, Azpilicueta and also Alvaro Morata, while Marcos Alonso this time, unlike the last two times, wasn't included. Now, Spain, like I said, in their first game they played against Croatia, lost to 3-2. Morata came on in that game for roughly the last half an hour or so, but Kepa and Azpilicueta, weren't used. And in the second game, there was a 1-0 friendly win over Bosnia and Herzegovina, in which Kepa actually started but was subbed off in the 75th minute, not due to injury, just, to play the third keeper as well, basically. Morata, started and played until the 65th, and Azpilicueta came on 5 minutes into the second half and played, the rest of the game. Now moving on to France, and as usual, N'Golo Kante and Olivier Giroud were involved, but Kurt Zouma, unlike last time, wasn't included this time round. Now, in the first game, France suffered a 2-0 defeat to the Netherlands, which ended up proving a pretty heavy defeat in the grand scheme of things of the Nations League. And, it was their fourth and last game of the Nations League, so they didn't play another one, basically later on in the international break. Kante played the whole game, while Olivier Giroud also started, but was subbed off after 65 minutes. Like I said, they lost 2-0 to a Wijnaldum goal late in the first half, and then a, Memphis Depay penalty basically just close to the end of the game. And then last night, France beat Uruguay by 1-0 in a friendly, with Olivier Giroud getting the winner from the penalty spot early in the second half, as he played until the 80th minute, and N'Golo Kante again featuring for the full 90. And as I am talking about him, let's also mention the reports about N'Golo Kante being close to signing a new deal at Chelsea. Those reports getting stronger and stronger, being reported by multiple sources over the last couple of days. And then, I think a day or two ago, also then stated and reported by Sky Sports that basically, according to their sources, that is something that is close to happening. It is also said that he will earn around £280,000 a week, which would obviously be a huge, pay rise for him, which I think is more than thoroughly deserved. And generally, it would just be great if Kante signs a new deal, because he's a great player, and we just need to tie him long term to the club. But also, if the reported wages are true, I think that's actually good, because that would show that we are willing to break our self-set wage cap of £250,000 a week that we basically have been working with for forever, because before we had big money, obviously none of that would have ever been paid, but that was our wage cap within the club. But as we're breaking it for N'Golo Kante, it certainly does suggest that we'll basically offer Eden Hazard a massive contract, probably over £300,000 a week, to convince him of staying at Chelsea. And still staying on the topic of France, it has also been reported that Manchester United will face bids for Anthony Martial from both Juventus and Chelsea in January. Now, I would be in favour of that a lot more than I am of signing Christian Pulisic from Dortmund, although another Frenchman massively out of favour at Barcelona, Ousmane Dembélé, would also be a very good option in my opinion, and also definitely better than Pulisic. I think it might just be a little bit easier for us to get Dembélé simply because he's out of favour at Barcelona anyway, and Man United will unlikely want to sell to us. Possibly Mourinho will try and get Willian in return, and maybe then it could possibly happen. But, if we don't want to do that, I think Dembélé might actually be more likely to happen than Martial, who's better out of the two. Tricky to tell, different types of wingers in my opinion. But, that's enough about France and about those kind of rumours. And now getting to Germany, where obviously, Antonio Rudiger was involved. Now, for the Germans, the first of their two games was a 3-0 win over Russia in a friendly, with Rudiger playing for the first hour and actually getting an assist as well. But their second game was in the Nations League, not a friendly, against Holland. And Germany were up 2-0 after 20 minutes, but then bottled it in the last 5 minutes, plus injury time, as the Dutch basically got back to 2-0, which meant that the Netherlands actually topped that group ahead of France on head-to-head. Not on goal difference in the Nations League, it was on head-to-head, even though there would have been a head and goal difference anyway. But, it was, on head-to-head, while Germany, already before the game, were guaranteed to be relegated after Netherlands a couple of days before, like I said, already beat France. And, fair play to the Netherlands, fair play to them. I mean, they've had a horrible couple of years. I mean, they weren't in the Euros, they weren't in the last World Cup, but, so far this season, they've been very impressive. Now moving on from that, coming to Brazil, Willian was again included this time, like the last few times, but thankfully, as there is no qualifiers going on in South America at the moment, he didn't have to travel, far at all, as Brazil played both of their friendly games in England, actually, as they got 2 1-0 wins. First one was over Uruguay at the Emirates, and then over Cameroon at the MK Dons Stadium. Willian didn't feature in that first game, but came on for the last 20 minutes against Cameroon. Moving back into Europe with Belgium, Eden Hazard and also Michy Batshuayi were involved with them. But it didn't go well for Belgium. It really didn't, and it was massive surprise to me. Like both of their games were part of the Nations League, and the first one, in their first one, they did beat Iceland by 2-0. And Iceland finished the group on 0 points. But Shuai actually got both goals in them. I'm pretty sure Eden Hazard was awarded the man of the match without actual direct goal involvement, even though he played some cheeky passes and back heels and then was obviously a huge player for them in that game, as he basically always is. And he was then subbed off after 75 minutes. But the second game though, against Switzerland, from which Belgium only needed a draw, or even they could have even lost if it wasn't by more than one goal, and they scored more than 2 away goals. As in the other leg, basically they beat Switzerland 2-1 in Belgium. But they kind of bottled it because within 17 minutes they were already 2-0 up. Both goals scored by Thorgan Hazard, but then Switzerland turned around and won 5-2, which is utterly ridiculous. As Seferovic got a hat trick. He basically never scores. He never scores goals. That is utterly ridiculous, to be honest. And that also means that Switzerland are now in the Nations League playoff, semi-final, whatever you want to call it, with England, the Netherlands, and also Portugal, which I'm going to come to. I mean, the positive from that, I suppose, is that Hazard, if he does stay, next summer, will have the summer off, I suppose. And against Switzerland, by the way, Hazard did play the full 90. Now, with Italy, both Jorginho and Emerson Palmieri were involved with them. Jorginho played the full 90 minutes of their 0-0 home draw with Portugal in the Nations League. Italy, by the way, finishing, second in their group. Obviously behind Portugal, as I said, they made the playoffs, and ahead of Poland, who got relegated into League B. But for the second game, this week, a 1-0 win over USA in a friendly, Jorginho was actually allowed to go back to Chelsea early and, wasn't involved in that game anymore, as he was apparently pretty tired following the last international break. So they basically gave him a couple of days off, before training resumed at Chelsea. But against the USA, though, Emerson Palmieri did play the full 90 minutes. Now, coming to Denmark, and Andreas Christensen was obviously involved with them. He actually played the whole game in the 2-1 away win over Wales, which, with a game to go, secured their promotion from League B to League A in the Nations League by top in that group. But then Christensen wasn't used in their 0-0 draw against Ireland a couple of days later. Also in the Nations League, but like I said, they had secured promotion already. And then coming to Wales, obviously Ethan Ampadu involved with them. Like I said, the first game was against Denmark. In that game, Ethan Ampadu came on as the centre-back. I'm pretty sure at least he replaced the centre-back. I couldn't watch the game. He came on after around 50 minutes and, played the rest of the game. But was actually then sent back to Chelsea before their 1-0 friendly defeat to Albania, as according to their manager Ryan Giggs, Ampadu wasn't quite right, whatever that means, so they decided that it wouldn't be smart for him to travel. And the only thing that is slightly annoying is that Kovacic and Ampadu always seem to get injured in international breaks, at least so far this season. It's a little bit annoying. Oh, and by the way, Wales finished second behind Denmark in that group, obviously staying in League B, and Ireland getting relegated to League C. And just before finishing the video off, of course, we at the channel do know of the talk about Chelsea possibly facing a transfer ban for some strange ongoings, basically with signing underage players, including the likes of Bertrand Traoré and also Andreas Christensen. Whether that's actually true or not, most of it, in my opinion, is speculation. Of course, we can speculate, and we can, basically choose to believe or not to believe all of the Football League stuff that has come out by them over the last few weeks. But even if we do choose to believe it, whether the FIFA will then end up investigating Chelsea and obviously all the other clubs that were kind of thrown, under the bus a little bit by this Football Leagues. I mean, I do hope that, Man City and PSG do get investigated if this stuff is true, because that's just frankly ridiculous. And, they should look into that a lot more than they should look into what we did, apparently. But, even if it is true and even if they do investigate it, whether anything will come from it, no one can know for certain. And to my knowledge, the club isn't worried at all at this stage and thinks that they've stuck to the rules basically on all occasions. But yeah, that's really it for me. That's basically it from the video. So leave me all of your thoughts on everything I've mentioned down in the comment section below. Like I said in the beginning, let's see whether we can hit 400 or more likes. That would be massively appreciated. And also, of course, don't forget to check out my social media, which is Slaus5007 on both Instagram and Twitter, as you can see over here. And also the links to both of them are down in the description. So if you could follow me there, I would massively appreciate that. And lastly, as you know, this is YouTube, so we're going to have to ask you to do that. Basically, if you haven't already, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell button. That is also hugely important, because sometimes videos just don't show up in sub boxes and stuff. So if you don't want to miss out on any of our videos, do make sure you click that notification bell button. Then you're notified about all our future videos, so you don't miss any of them. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. Can't wait for the Spurs game on Saturday. And I'll see you next time.